Hi, and welcome to the Production Podcast, where we talk about all things production, films, commercials, and more. I'm Joshua Dixon. I'm a director and producer and one of the founders here at Umbrella Films. Today, I've got with me one of our senior producers, Arthur Boon. And today, we're...
Off the cuffs.
Yeah, talking off the cuff about a bunch of stuff. So let's just dive into it. So hang on. So we're about to go to AFM.
Yeah, we're about to go to AFM.
This is kind of a non... How do you say it? This is just off the cuff real quick. We're having a conversation. So
yeah,
you are recording on this, the video, yeah? Okay, great.
Yeah.
So we're going to AFM, which is, for anyone that doesn't know, it's the American film market. We're going next month to promote Thailand for production services, right? To invite people to bring their films to Thailand and shoot here. And then we're also going there to try to sell a movie that we just shot.
Yeah.
And then after, some of us are staying in the U.S., right? So I'm going back to where my family's from, which is in Texas.
Yeah.
Eric, who you can't see, he's off screen right now. He's one of our senior staff here, and he's controlling the podcast right now. He's the man with the mixer. He's
the Wizard of Oz.
He's going back to Canada. Canada. He's going back to Canada for a week. And then Will is coming back here. Will and Andrew, two of our other staff, are coming back immediately after AFM. But you're going to continue to go see your relatives in the U.S.
Yeah.
Which I don't know where they're actually at now. Like, after that whole conversation was all over the place, or that explanation was all over the place as to who's where now. But you're going to San Francisco.
Yeah.
And the really cool reason I wanted to record this is because your plans in San Francisco are what?
So I'm going to go visit like the cool places that you see in Vertigo. Because I really like the movie Vertigo. So I'm going to go see, like, the Myrwood Forest. And then I'm going to go...
Now, real quick, is this a tour that someone does?
No.
Or you're doing this yourself?
I'm just doing research and like where things were.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to try to go see, probably not everything, but like the scenes that I enjoyed.
Because when you told me this just now, I pictured you in like one of those convertible buses.
Yeah.
You know how they go by all the Hollywood homes of the movie stars?
Hop
yeah, and it's like, okay,
off.
now this is Brad Pitt's house. Now this is Ellen DeGeneres, and so on. So like...
Yeah.
So it's not that.
It's not that. So I'm like, literally, if you guys can see my screen, I'm kind of like going through. So I have here marked down like Fort Point National Historic Site. Mm-hmm. So like that's where, the Kim Novak's character jumps off.
So you made a list of all the locations from Vertigo that you wanted to go see, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to go do that. The Myrwood Forest, of course, that's going to be cool. And then I think that's going to be part of the trip. Not the whole trip, but part of it is going to seeing these kind of like geek out locations where,
Now, what was your prerequisite from deciding whether or not one of these locations needed to be on your tour?
It's actually just
What's still left? Like, what's still available?
No, it's more like the scenes I liked, the scenes I enjoyed, and I feel like I'd really like to see for real if it's like that, right?
So top 3 locations you're expecting.
So I'm going to go see the Myrwood Forest.
Yeah.
I'm going to go see the right under the Golden Gate Bridge. There is the Fort Point National Historic Site. So that's like kind of where, the love interest between the two characters kind of began, right? And then I'm thinking of going to see. I'm trying to find where it actually is, but the cemetery. And the museum that they kind of when they were first meeting and stuff like that. So I'm going to go around doing my homework on that and then trying to find all of that.
So we're not just a commercial production company. We actually are doing feature films now, right? We just actually did 3 last month.
Yeah.
And we're making our way into it. And that's why we're going to the American film market, because we're really trying to concentrate on that segment now. But you can see that we also watch films. And so we're not just, the people that are doing the logistics and helping people, shoot their films, but like we work film and we breathe and eat film.
Yeah.
And
But don't you do that when you go traveling? Like, I really want to see this place they shot this thing.
Yeah. I mean, actually, that's one of the cool things about movies, right? Movies make locations famous, right? Thailand, right? We're here, so we can use Thailand, for example. when everyone comes to Thailand, they go to Bayok Tower because Hangover shot there, right?
Yeah.
Or they go to Soy Cowboy because Hangover shot there, right?
Yeah.
Same thing, James Bond Island, huge tourist area now, right?
Yeah, they actually renamed it James Bond Island.
Because of the movie.
Yeah, because of the movie. And people go there. And then there's like...
And that was from the 80s or 70s?
I'd say 70s.
Which one was this?
This is the Man with the Golden Gun.
Man with the Golden Gun, yeah.
Yeah.
This is so long ago.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine the amount of production support that was actually in Phuket at the time? Like, there had to have been none. Like, every single thing had to be flown in.
Probably.
Like, even cameras. I bet you they were not able to get... Think of all the crew. Imagine that was, like, probably the start of the actual feature film, Western feature industry here.
Yeah, there is a good chance. Like, so there's that, and like the beach island, right?
Yeah, the beach. That's another one, right?
Yeah, that's another one. And I think, locations do make places famous. When I went to Scotland, I took a tour bus around all the Highlands, and every time it was, oh, this place is historical because blah, blah, blah. These movies shot here, right? And that's when the people kind of, you
plan your holidays way better than I do, though. Like, you do this months in advance. Like, we're a month away from AFM right now, and you already have this tour planned, right? That you're doing. And I, if I ever do get a vacation, I am horrible at it.
I'll give you one of my maps.
I actually get really bored on vacation.
Oh,
so it bores me.
Yeah, well, I take photos, right? So that's part of my hobby. It's like my creative outlet is just take a shit.
I used to try to do that. I can't anymore because it feels like work.
Well, yeah, I guess
because it's like whenever I go to shoot a photo, well, you're shooting film. So you can't see it immediately.
So I
that's
shoot
my
both
issues.
Film and digital.
So I'm shooting digital, right? And so I see it and I'm like, this is not what I need to shoot it again. And it's a reshoot. And, like, I guess if I was doing like street photography, then that would, because you're capturing a moment, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's no redos on that.
Well, there's that also. You have that time limitation. Like I have all these places I want to go to, so I need to see it. Hopefully, I'm lucky, get it, go to the next one, because I'm trying to make my day as well.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to miss out on that experience. I don't know if I'm going to get to go to San Francisco again, right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to make sure like I see everything, and for me, it's practice. Like for me. Like we're in the creative business all the time, but because it's our job, I do feel we have a duty to ourselves to practice in different forms. So, for instance, like when I do a photo, when you're directing, you have all this, you're thinking about clients and stuff, and then that's the opportunity for me to just like turn off. Okay, I just want to be creative for myself. I see something. How would I shoot this? What would make this look cool? How should I grade this? And then I take the photo and hopefully it works out and it looks good, right?
Yeah.
And that's good practice for me because it helps me learn different perspectives. It helps me, think about the process in a less pressured way, I guess, for me at least.
Okay. This is kind of I don't remember if we talked about this one time. I don't remember if it was for a podcast or what, but we talked about like taking a break.
Yeah.
Was that on a podcast?
I don't know.
I don't remember, but we
But I always think you need to take a break. You need a vacation.
Yeah, but no, like it's because you got it down to a science actually.
Yeah.
And that's not to be like, Arthur doesn't like his job. He's just very structured. Actually, it's great, I think, because I'm OCD. I feel like I'm OCD about certain things. You're OCD about other types of things. Yeah. But like you keep all your cables and stuff in this bag. And I imagine like whenever you travel, you have a toiletries bag that has like your aftershave in one place and your cologne here, and then your deodorant's got his, So
I do packing cubes.
Yeah, exactly. I bet. So and then Eric's kind of like that too with his cables too.
Yeah.
And I love that because like it's just organized, right? It's not chaos like most creatives. But we talked about, I don't remember where it was, but like when you go on vacation, like you go on vacation, right? Like you're doing vacation, you're doing a holiday, and we can't get a hold of you.
Yeah.
We cannot.
But see, like but
but you're still doing stuff that's related to your job.
Yeah. So
involuntarily.
Because here's the thing, like I do this because I enjoy doing this. Like I'm lucky, I guess. I get to do a job that, sometimes, let's be frank, sometimes it sucks. Sometimes there's moments where I'm like, damn it, but at the end of the day, it's still a fun job. And then
all jobs have moments that suck.
Yeah, they all do.
Not all jobs suck.
Yeah.
Right?
True. And I enjoy my job. But then I also feel like, and I want to do more of it, right? But on my time off, that's when I get to do the things I want to do the way I want to do it, right? Without that pressure of like, oh, is someone going to like this or not, right? It's whatever. I think a lot of people do that as good practice. We talked about Jude Wacko, one of our colleagues. He's an AD, and on his free time, he's always writing a novel, or writing a script, or he's making his own documentaries. He's not making profit off of it. There's no clients on it. It's just him using those creative outlets to practice.
Yeah. So I think actually this is kind of cool because I think last month, it's crazy. I think last month I figured it out.
Yeah.
On what I want to do. Right. It's crazy. Like I don't know what I want to do. I helped found the company and now like I'm figuring it out. But like, and that's because I like doing business development. The management comes along with it, but like I like doing biz dev, and then, and that's not just like sales and bringing in, but that's bringing in new clients, but that's like finding new avenues for us to as a company to participate in and figure out new ways to bring in revenue and new things to be us, be involved in. That could be new technology, that could be new types of clients, right? This could be the feature films that we're adding to it now, right? And then directing, right? So I directed my first movie last month. And so this is where it really makes sense to me, right? I'll direct commercials again for money. I am more interested in producing them than directing commercials. And just, I really want to concentrate on directing features and managing and developing the business. And so that's why I feel like whenever I go on vacation, I get bored because I enjoy developing a business.
Okay, so I have two questions there, right? My first question would be, do you feel like...
It annoys me, man, when I don't have anything to do. It annoys me.
Yeah, but do you feel, before we get into like the vacation part though, do you feel like directing commercials makes you a better film director?
Yeah, of course. So directing commercials for several years prepared me for directing a film better than anything else could. And what I mean by that is understanding how to roll with the punches, understanding how to recover and get back up on your feet, right? That sort of thing is second nature, right? Because I've been doing this with clients for years, right? Where it's like they change the creative 2 days before you shoot your commercial, and they don't realize that they're actually changing the creative, right? They think that they're just making a small edit, but you're having to figure out like how to keep them happy, not go over budget, and still deliver a commercial that you'll be proud of, as well as, all the key selling points and all these different, things that you have to check off for that commercial, right? In the end. And then still doing it on time, on a schedule, on the day of, right? Adjusting everything so that you can execute it without the client understanding that you need to push, or, it's just, it goes on and on and on and on. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's just never ending. And when you're doing a low budget film, which ours was a super low budget, right? We actually put our own money into it because I wanted to, add that extra little, oomph to it. So, whenever we would get, whenever we would have something happen that feels detrimental to most people, to me, it was just like, okay, how do we get around it? And it was natural to figure out how to get around it. So that's kind of like what commercial directing definitely helped me with. Because I was also a cinematographer before. I also understand the blocking and the lighting and how that works, and technically, you know, the camera movement and how it cuts together, you know, in that way. So like, I think that all those two things, having directed commercials and having been a DP before, those two things prepared me for commercial directing. I'm sorry, for feature film directing, to where I wasn't figuring out any of this as we were shooting, right? So it's what I'd been trained for. And I think I did it backwards for most people. Most people would raise money, get, you know, friends and family to donate money, and they raise $100,000, $200,000, do their first feature film, you know, and then after that, between their movies, they get commercial directing gigs to put food on the table, essentially, right? Yeah. I did it backwards from that. So we built the company, and I've been directing commercials for a long time, and now I've got the opportunity to direct a feature film, which I was able to like put all the staff on. I don't know if, you remember, because you were also producing a commercial, and you're like, hey, I need to get someone to go pick up an envelope, and we're like,
we have nobody.
Yeah, our office manager is now a script supervisor, you know, like, so everybody was doing, you know, was working on the film actually in the end. And that helped a lot too, because we all knew each other, right? There wasn't this whole discovery process that you go through usually on a film where, you know, you're trying to figure out, you know, your kinks and, you know, the rhythm of how everyone works, you know, the first few days. Yeah. I mean, that was still there. It was,
of course.
Our movie was considerably less, probably a tenth of the budget of all the other two movies that we produced that month.
No, but what's interesting is, actually that could be a topic for another day, like producing movies in 3 different budgets, what the challenges are. Yeah. But I think one thing that's really interesting, and you said, is that kind of like when you produce, when you direct, when you have done DOP and stuff like that, right? Especially like for me, like I used to be an AD coming in. And then what you immediately notice because of that experience is that knock-on effect when the client changes something really suddenly, and then you have to change everything. But when it's a film, it's such a knock-on effect, right? Because if you change just a single piece of jewelry, it affects the continuity of the whole film from there on out, from that point, and you have to go re-examine the past shots and stuff as well.
Yeah, so. if you shot like the scene before this, and the person's wearing the wardrobe, right? Yeah. And you already shot those scenes, well, you can't change the jewelry. Yeah. Right.
Exactly. Had some of those kind of issues.
This is I do not take this wrong in any way, but this is the joy of not having a client whenever you're directing your own movie. Yeah. Right. You are the client. Yeah. And so the flip side to that is you're the one to blame. Yeah. Right. It was scary, man. Yeah. It was absolutely scary. I'm sitting here going, the thing did we shoot that already? Did they have that on? Did they not? You know,
that's the thing I found amazing is you didn't have.
If I mess it up, it comes back to me.
Yeah, like you didn't have a script supervisor.
I did have a script supervisor.
No, like a professional.
He was paid. He's our office manager. Yeah. No, but he'd done AD work before. I mean, he knew what he was doing, but obviously he's not in practice like a normal script supervisor.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's where you kind of have to, it's kind of teamwork, right? Everybody's kind of helping each other remember, wait, did he walk in with his gun in the right hand or the left hand?
Yeah, we were running over to DIT to check stuff, right, that the video playback guy didn't have on file because it was at the beginning of the film, right? And so like the cards had already been full on the VTR. And so, we were having to do that. So there was times where we had to stop. We had to go check with DIT and have them pull up, proxies that he'd rendered out,
and just kind of see were we right on this one or not.
Yeah, well, it was more like finding out. Okay, so she doesn't have her bag now. Okay, she left it in the car. Yeah, we're going to have to go with that. She left it in the car because before she did and now she doesn't.
Yeah.
And there's no reason,
Yeah.
you know, it's just like, you know, but I mean, that's when you do an ultra low budget film.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
it's the challenge, but at the same time, I think, you know, but one thing to be proud about, right, is after you've done an ultra low budget film, you have that badge of honor. Like,
yeah, sure.
I did an ultra low budget film. I made it, and hopefully at AFM we can, you know, get it distributed and all that. So, good luck with that. I'll help on that as much as I can.
I think we have a good chance. It looks really, really expensive. Hey everyone, I just want to remind you real quick, if you could please leave a comment on YouTube or review us on the platform you're watching it on. This helps us to understand a bit more about the content you like to hear about, and it's also a way that we can help communicate with you and answer questions. Yeah, it looks really expensive.
Yeah, it's shot really well.
Thanks.
I'm very pleasantly surprised. Not to say that I had any doubt, but at the same time, I had these moments where it's like, so when I heard the budget.
When you heard the budget.
The budget.
We can't mention numbers here.
Not the budget, though. I don't know if you know this, but when I was prepping for the movie I was line producing at the time, right?
Yeah. The Dubai film.
The Dubai film.
Yeah.
So I was in that room. Your AD was in this room, I think. Mm-hmm. And then she was just making her day out of days. And then she walked up to me and was like, hey, this is my day out of days. And I looked at it and I was like, that's never going to happen. That's just like 10 days. That's never going to happen.
And in the end, it did not happen. It didn't. We were shooting for the stars, man.
Yeah. I saw that.
Fortunately, we did not have to cut near as much as like someone would think.
No, but
we ended up stretching the days to like 17 though in the end. Man.
Yeah.
So it went from 13 to 17 days.
Yeah. You stretch the days, but what I'm surprised about is you actually had the time to do proper lighting. Like your shots don't feel, you know, when you're rushing it, like you don't have that time to go in and like, okay, let's put a scrim up over here. Let's kind of cut the light over here, right? Because you need to just shoot it and get it done. But you guys actually fit in the time to do that and manage to get good lighting. Yeah.
But we didn't. This is the thing. Is the only thing I can contribute that to is because in these like key places, right? Directing. I wouldn't say I'm veteran, but I'm experienced, right? Directing. The DOP, he's also, he wrote the script. He's also one of the main producers. And he shot 5 movies himself last year. They're action movies. Nico, right? He's excellent at what he does. We had a friend help us camera up on there, and he's also DOP and producer. He's produced tons of movies.
Yeah.
H1, right? He helped, dude. H1 helped us with all kinds of stuff. Literally, it was like he was going over and shooting another scene without us, or he was pre-lighting stuff, you know, in advance for us, or picking up shots that we didn't ask him to because he's like, I know you guys need it for the cut, right? Like,
yeah,
we made sure that the team that we had together was very, very tight and experienced in those types of things, right? And then the places that was very, very difficult were in the more inexperienced areas, or the places that I knew I could at least like pick up the slack later. Not to say that other positions are not important, so I don't want to say
no
what positions are not important. I don't want to anger anyone, but like there was ways that I knew I could get around it, and also because I had our staff here working on it, and I knew who does what well, right? Yeah. Like I know their personalities, and I've been working with them for some of them years, right? So I knew that like they could figure it out, even though they're not getting it now. I know that they'll figure it out, and by the time they're supposed to have it done, they'll have got it done, right? And those are the people that are promising, and so those are, that's really kind of like the identity of what it takes to be a staff here, anyways, right? Like you got to be able to manage yourself and so on, and so that was one of the good things that really helped out. So, and then right. she started out as production managing. She ended up line producing in the end.
Yeah.
I kind of line produced side by side on her, but I really just stopped, and she handled the entire budget from there on out. Because Andrew had to go produce on another movie,
yeah,
right? The Russian one in
was
Phuket.
the craziest 2 months.
Yeah, it was really busy.
Yeah.
But like for example, I mean, there were some nights that I don't know that she got sleep, just to be honest, and I hate that. And she would never tell or complain about it ever. But I'm sure that she got hardly any sleep, but she managed to, like, we were getting locations, like the hotel we shot at, turned out to be awesome. We got it the night before we were supposed to shoot that morning or something like that, right? Like, that happened 3 or 4 times, and she just managed to get these locations, you know?
I was an ace. You need to get I into this podcast and ask her about all the...
She's too quiet, man. She won't. She's a really good producer.
Yeah.
In terms of production manager, producer, right? In terms of I don't know what it is. People do not like to say no to her. She's never. I've never seen her get mad. She's very calm and she's persistent. And I've never seen anyone get mad at her.
No, she's one of a kind, man. You lucked out on getting her as staff.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah, we couldn't have made it without her, for sure. And then all the other positions, everyone else filled in, of course.
Yeah. No, I would say, so to the point you said before, which was, you know, you don't want to make anybody mad. Like, I think every position is important, right? It's they're all gears in a machine. But I also think that when you're doing production, it's very important. Like what I do, my practice is I always find the top 3 things that need to be produced first. Like the hardest things or most important things in this production are 1, 2, 3. And then when you get those things nice and tight and they're done, the rest of the production kind of starts to fall into place. And I think with your film, it was DOPs, it's the DOPs, the directors, the actors. Once you got those things in, the rest kind of falls into place.
The other thing that actually that's one point that I just want to, the actors that we got, it was unreal. And everybody always says this about their film.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to call BS on that. Like, they did not get the actors that we did.
Yeah.
Right. Our guys, they're not only known, but they're trained. Right. And you can go on the IMDb and see the actors that we had, but, there were not first time actors. They were not even close to that. They were, our lead has been acting for 30 years. Right.
Yeah.
And it's just awesome to see that, because like now I'm getting to experience what I've heard about, where it's like the actor comes in, he turns his head to a certain side as he comes in, he steps with his foot here in this position, and then you give him direction and he comes back and he does everything exactly the same again, right? Like continuity is the same, and like he's been trained for that, right? And the emotion and everything, like they have their own interpretation to it, right? And so all of our actors were really, really amazing in that sense.
Yeah.
And that was really, really cool to experience it, because like I've been doing commercials for years, and it's like, great. You know how to hold the drink while you drink it, like proper training and proper, like, people have gone to school to study how to take on a character. It's amazing. And so I think that was one of the things that we lucked out actually on. And that's the first thing, man. If you don't have that, and honestly, I think that that's what makes all the difference. Like when we're watching it, like you said, it was shot well. I think it was acted well. I think that's the entire thing, man. And that's why it works. I mean, I'm still watching the trailer and I'm like, whoa, dude, we created this, really? Like just to be honest, like it's really, really crazy. Like it's great acting, man. Great acting.
So
that's 90% of your film right there, in my opinion. People say it's half of it. It's not. It's 90% of it.
Yeah, no, the actors make it, how do you say it? The team build it.
Story and acting.
And then they just make it complete, right?
Yeah.
I was watching the first kind of like assembly, not the actual assembly, just putting the footage together so you can send it to the editor. And what I noticed was like, and you can really see it when you're doing in that process, right? Is with an experienced actor, they actually act so you can edit the shots.
Yeah, of course.
Whereas on some of your shots with the less experienced actors or extras and stuff like that, you can see that they're not actually they're acting well, but they don't provide a space for you to cut out, right? And it becomes this kind of like the editor doesn't know where to
there's
cut.
there's not room.
Yeah, there's no room to cut. And like just simple things like that with actors who know what they're doing really makes the movie much better and much easier.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. My other experience, I shot a short film, it's about like 6-7 years ago. It was in South Texas, and it was Stephen Baldwin was the lead in it. The director never finished the film. But this is one of my first experience. I was like, wow, these actors are doing more than just acting. Like they're understanding blocking and framing and how the movie's made, right?
Yeah.
Stephen Baldwin, we're shooting a short film with him in South Texas, and he looks to me and he says, "Hey, what lens do you have on the camera?" And I said, "It's a 35." He said, "Okay, cool." And so he turns over to one of the more like the actors that's way less experienced, maybe a first time actor, and he says, "Okay, your frame is from here to here," right? And he knew
how wide it was
from how far the distance of the camera is, right?
Yeah.
Only a camera operator, a director, or a DP would normally know that, right?
Yeah.
But he knew that, right? And you've seen stuff online where like acting master classes from whoever it is, they'll tell you like whenever you come in, don't lean forward and backwards because you're going to throw it out of focus for the camera, right? So all those like technical things, those are some of the benefits I think you get with like very experienced seasoned actors, especially people that do TV, right? Like I think people that did TV and sitcoms, like they understand, always make sure both your eyes can see the camera, that sort of thing. Like, so that it cuts well for the editors.
When I was an actor, I felt like I had to have a eye behind my head because I had to know, I had to hit my mark, right? But I also had to know to make sure like when I was coming into position, I wasn't blocking the light.
Yeah.
And I had to be aware of, and Thai soap operas, they shoot with like sometimes up to 3 cameras, right? So I would have to be aware of the camera behind me that's seeing this person,
right?
How much in frame I would be for that camera. Because if I'm too little in frame, it's really hard for them to crop if they need to or to establish which character it is.
Yeah.
If I'm too much in frame, then I start eating into that character. They can't see the reaction of that character from the shoulder, one of the shoulders and stuff. So I've always felt like I needed to know where all the cameras were, where I was. And it's almost like I had this kind of, I had to be aware of like a top-down overview of where the cameras and lights are. And
it's almost like a talent, like a sound boom operator. They know where the frame is all the time. They know where the edge, the top, so that they don't place themselves or their mic in it, right?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. But they're getting as close as they can to capture the loudest, clearest audio, right? Like that sort of thing. So like, but you're in frame having to do this, right?
Yeah.
So,
all of that while you're actually still in character emotionally as well. Like
exactly.
It's like
this is the whole thing that blows my mind is how actors can do that.
Yeah.
Like, say you had just had a bad day, you had a fight with the wife or something like that, and then you got to go to set and then put on this whole other character emotionally. I can operate a camera doing that, but like I don't understand emotionally putting yourself into a situation. Like being able to shut that off and then convert
to a different and then
that blows my mind.
See, and you lucked
Practice,
out.
Obviously, so
You lucked out with like really good actors
people
too.
that know how to do this. Yeah, exactly.
So kudos to you, and kudos. I can't wait to see it. I'm waiting for the trailer actually because I really want to present that to some investors here in Thailand. So hopefully, man, I'm looking forward to it. We segued pretty far from what we wanted to talk about. Actually,
this was not planned at all. We should actually probably wrap this up then. And then we can do this other one that we planned on another day.
Sure. So how do we wrap this up? So
that's it, man.